watching News 12 live at 5 continues.
A mother of 3 killed in a hit and run. Joni Mitchell was riding her bike with her 14-year-old son when police say an SUV hit and killed her at the intersection of Lumpkin Road and Fleming Drive last Saturday.
Now Mitchell's family is speaking out as they prepare to fight for justice. Our Sydney Hood live in our newsroom for us. And Sydney, walk us through what they're feeling this evening.
Well, it's something no child should ever have to witness, but it's now an image of his mom, 14-year-old Joshua P. will never forget. Her entire family really is struggling with reality right now. It's the reality that Joni is really gone. She was a mom of 3, a wife, a daughter, a friend. She even had her own business, and those who know her best say she loved life, but she was a hard worker, and she was the light in everyone's lives.
You did something to me, I would have paid you to save my wife. But I had to explain every day to my kids that we're going to be okay. To lie to myself every day and act like it's all right. It ain't.
And it's been more than a week since Joni died, but that pain her family and friends feel is still fresh. Coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, the moment that forever changed her family and how they are figuring out life without her.
It's hard to imagine going through something like that. You could see so many of her family and friends there. It would appear to be her family and friends there during the interview there to support her as well. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to see that happen.
Especially having your child find you. Just devastating for that family. Thanks, Sydney.
Our thoughts and prayers are definitely with the Mitchell family at this time. As we talk about weather now, we're looking at just coming up.
Thanks, Mikkel. 1 person is dead and 6 others are injured after a mass shooting that happened yesterday in Barnwell County just after midnight. Authorities say 1 person died from a, quote, unknown cause. 5 people were treated and released from local hospitals. The 6th person is still recovering in the hospital. The sheriff's office is now offering a $500 reward for any information about this shooting.
2 parents are in jail tonight after arrest warrants show, quote, severe injuries that put a 6-week-old baby boy in critical condition in the hospital. 19-year-old Emma Pittman and 35-year-old David James from Blythe were arrested last Wednesday on child cruelty charges. Arrest warrants say the baby suffered from skull fractures, bleeding inside and outside the brain, and he had bruising all over his body. His parents are still in jail tonight.
Tomorrow, Aiken County is holding a special election to determine the next council member for District 8. Republican James Hankinson will be up against Democrat PK Hightower. You can vote from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And to find your precinct, you can go to scvotes.org.
The Georgia high school football playoffs are in full swing, and a couple of our Columbia County teams are playing their respective super regionals today.
And News 12 Sports Director Dan Booth joins us live now from Greenbrier High School, where the Wolfpack are hosting one of the Class 5A super regionals.
Meredith and Will, high school softball teams across the state of Georgia are still fighting to keep their hopes of winning a state championship alive. And for the Greenbrier Wolfpack, their next step in that journey is winning the super regional they're hosting today. Now, I'm joined now by Jason Osborne, the head coach of the Wolfpack. Coach, earlier today you got your fans going with a nice 20-0 win. How important was it for you guys to get that first win in the super regional and then get those bats going early?
Just coming out swinging the bat the way we did, and sometimes getting girls to play early games sometimes tough, so that was good to come out and be able to play a quick game, kind of save our pitching, save our energy, and then be able to kind of sit around and watch some of these other teams play today.
You know, and to that point, you guys are home. You know, there are a lot of teams that have to travel, including all these other teams, to come here to Greenbrier. How important is it for you, for your team, for your school, for the community, for you guys to be hosting an event like this that not everybody else gets to do?
Being at home is huge. Early on in my coaching career, I didn't really realize that, and I had some mentors that always kind of beat that into me, but being at home is huge. We leave here tonight, we get to go sleep in our own beds and kind of stay on our own schedule, so anytime you can be at home, that's a step in the right direction, and hopefully we can make it work.
You know, and you guys are playing in a few minutes at 6 o'clock here. Taylor Schneider has been fantastic for you guys in the circle this so far these playoffs. What has she meant to this team, her leadership, and the amount of innings that she's been able to put forth in the circle?
You know, I don't know how I could put all this in just a couple of minutes, but just the way she threw us all on her back last week to win a region. She's been great in the circle for us all year long. Her leadership's been good. She's had some ups and downs, and she keeps going right through it. So being able to, being able to come out here and put her in the circle makes us feel a little bit better.
Coach, thank you as always for your time. Good luck today, all right? And they're playing their second game of the day in just a few minutes at 6 o'clock. Field prep is about to wrap up here, and then they're playing Union Grove. And I'm going to have the latest updates from everything Greenbrier softball later on this evening. Reporting from Greenbrier High School, Dan Booth on your side.
All right, thanks, Dan. They won 20-0.
I know. We both
in that
were like
first
20
matchup.
to nothing. That was a pretty good start, I'd say.
Yeah, it goes to show you just how good the Wolfpack are this season, and that home field advantage, like Dan was saying, can be very helpful in this situation. So we look forward to that, and we're wishing them the best of luck, too.
It's almost more points that were scored in Sunday Night Football last night between the Giants and the Bills, which is really interesting to see, to say the least. So, but their offense is on fire when it gets going.
Absolutely. We look forward to that. Thanks, Dan. Well, state agencies and nonprofits are trying to keep kids away from crime.
Reporter Abby Kasoris talks with people working with at-risk youth who say the only way to reverse the trend is more funding and more resources.
Youth violence intervention groups and state agencies were called to the Capitol today. Lawmakers are looking to use their power to either allocate more money or pass legislation to address the issue of gun violence and criminal activity amongst youth. According to the U.S. Department of Juvenile Justice, people younger than 18 account for 1 in 14 arrests, most for robbery, some for murder or aggravated assault.
Last week, we had a holdup at our local jewelry store. It seems that criminals are emboldened. Is that kind of in line with what you're seeing?
If we know that this gang boss is in one of our prisons, why don't we do something about it?
These are the questions that state lawmakers had for these groups from Atlanta, Augusta, Columbus, and Savannah, trying to reverse the trend of increasing violence.
Keep them from becoming further involved with the criminal system in Richmond County.
Take Dr. Audrey Armistead with children in need of services in Augusta. She's working with more than 1,200 kids to address youth violence. Thousands of kids in their county are not going to school. Hundreds are on probation, and 17 people under the age of 18 were murdered in Richmond County.
Come before a committee like this, we say we need resources so we can have these same kids in the building every single day to provide them the services that they need.
Counseling, after-school programs, and food donation, it all costs money. One of the drivers for crimes is Ken Howard with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. He says gangs are recruiting children in most of the school systems in Georgia.
Cops know who these kids are. We know who they are. And some of them would be good candidates for programs, but there's just not existing programs in some of these areas.
Urban Affairs Committee Chairman Representative Brian Prince says he doesn't plan on presenting any youth violence legislation this upcoming session, but several other members of his committee left that meeting saying this would be their priority. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
If you're heading towards North Augusta on I-20, Georgia DOT has a closure that could impact you. There will be an emergency overnight closure tomorrow. This is the Exit 1 ramp from I-20 eastbound to West Martintown Road and the South Carolina Welcome Center. So that means starting at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, you will need to use Exit 5 to Edgefield Road in order to get to Martintown Road. The exit will open back up Wednesday morning at 7 a.m.
A military mother traveling from her deployment from the Middle East to Georgia just to surprise her family. We'll have that emotional moment for you coming up next.
Always love stories like that. As far as weather headlines, we are talking about some chilly starts ahead for the next few mornings and also some sunnier skies building in before rainfall Friday. We'll talk about it all in the full forecast.
Well, election season is here, and a new sales tax on the ballot wants to take half a penny for every dollar or 50 cents on every $100 to make a new James Brown Arena. All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock. We check in with the Augusta-Richmond Coliseum Authority to see what would happen if you decide to vote no on this November's ballot.
Time and temp.
The weekend.
All right, thanks, Mikkel. An emotional moment at a high school football game in Savannah going viral.
Lindsay Singer shows us what made this game so very special.
Elena Duke has spent many hours practicing for this moment. Her time on the field with Savannah High's Blue Jacket Band. Each Friday night, Elena suits up, grabs her trumpet, and stands in formation. It's something you could say runs in the family.
Is your mom like, here that I can interview her about like your time in the band or anything?
She's actually overseas right now in the desert.
Or so she thought.
I am here to surprise my daughter, Elena Duke, who is in the band, and she has absolutely no clue that I am here.
Operation Surprise Elena has officially begun, and it could be Chief Master Sergeant Stewart's toughest mission.
I tried to keep the entire deployment as normal as possible, so we were still texting and calling each other as if I was still there. And I was like, okay, I got to go to bed now.
Alicia Stewart has been deployed for the past 6 months with the United States Air Force in Qatar, which caused her to miss Elena's 8th grade graduation and first day of freshman year.
But I promised that I would make it up to her.
And boy, did she. As halftime came around, Elena stood at attention, trumpet in hand, and prepared for her performance, not knowing that only feet away was her hero, her bestie, her mom. And suddenly, 6 months of waiting simply melted away.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps right there.
I know, that was so sweet. And I love how she played it off, like texting her, like, I'm about to go to bed, just because she didn't want to ruin the surprise.
I think my favorite part, too, is when she was interviewing her behind the bleachers. She has no idea I'm here right now. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
I love stories like that.
Oh, yeah, my mom's in the desert right now.
Just in the desert.
She's not.
That's so cool. We appreciate all our men and women who serve.
Absolutely.
Of course. Awesome.
And the families left behind.
And there are a lot of scary movies on these streaming services, but good luck finding them. There are just so many. I'm Jamie Tucker, coming up with a smartphone app that will help find a movie to give you the creeps.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
We are excited to announce that the Medicare Specialist is now 64 Insurance Group. And while we've expanded our portfolio to include other health insurance products, we are still your go-to for all things Medicare. Don't wait until you're 65 to call. Are-you64.com.
Water damage from
Words?
Hey, Jill, what's the matter?
Man, this name change is stressing me out.
Everyone will know we still specialize in Medicare.
Yeah, I know that, but what about this?
Are-you64.com.
There are so many streaming platforms, each with hundreds of movies to watch, but how do you find the right one?
It's impossible. But sometimes it feels like we spend more time searching for the right movie than actually watching. Our consumer tech reporter, Jamie Tucker, has an app to find just what you're looking for.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
If you have several streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, and some of the free ones like Pluto, Tubi, you have thousands of Halloween movies to choose from. The problem is trying to find them. Well, this smartphone app called Just Watch will speed up your search. The Just Watch app is for iOS and Android devices. Here's how it works. You select the streaming services you subscribe to and then add some of the free options like Pluto, Tubi, Freevee, and Crackle. The app will show you everything those services have available and what you can watch. Choices may still be overwhelming, so let's narrow things down by choosing genres. We'll pick horror that shows you over 3,000 titles to pick from. Then sort them by popularity, trending, or year. I prefer sorting by average IMDb rating. That puts the best movies at the top of the search result. If you have children, you can add a filter to find age-appropriate scary movies with G or PG ratings. You can also see who's in the movie, get a link to the movie's IMDb page, and watch the trailer. Just Watch works not just on mobile devices, but computers, and some smart TVs have Just Watch apps. So does Amazon Fire Sticks. But it's easier to search on phones and iPads. And find a movie you want to see, you can use the phone as a remote to play it on a connected television. You'll spend more time watching and less time searching. I'm Jamie Tucker, and Just Watch is the app of the day.
All right, Harlem softball is hoping for a trip back to Columbus. Today, the Lady Dogs are at Savannah Christian for their Super Regional.
They have 2 games today. The first just wrapped up. Our Alyssa Lyons brings us the latest from Savannah.
The days and hours are officially numbered. The first stop on the road to the GHSA title in Columbus lands us here at Savannah Christian, where the number 2 Bulldogs are taking on Thomasville. Harlem softball is known to bite first. Caroline Clemens hit a big 3-run homer to start the Bulldogs' scoring frenzy in the first inning. It sparked everything that followed. Abby Hillman knocked in a runner off a blip to second to make it a 7-zip ball game in the third. Aubrey Dent didn't waste any time to make it 8. They had runners in scoring position every inning, quickly finding the scoreboard sitting with insurance better than your cars at 10-0. A Thomasville runner never got past second. The Bulldogs posted 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. They took it in 5 to kick off their first win in Supers.
We played good defense, so we got up 10. I want to make sure I got everybody in the ball game, so that's what we did. Well, our pitching is pretty good, and you know, she was on all day. She only walked 2, so.
There's still plenty of softball left for the Harlem Bulldogs. They have one more game left to go. That's at 7 p.m. They just have to find out who will meet them in the opposite dugout. That'll either be Mary Parsons or Savannah Christian. In Savannah, Alyssa Lyons on your side.
It's October at Cheap Adventure.
Well, welcome back. We are looking at the tropics once again, and just looking at one area of potential development east of the Lesser Antilles, west of the west coast of Africa. About an 80% chance of this turning into our next named system. And the general motion you can see in this red shaded area just take it just north and east of the Lesser Antilles and also the Caribbean in general. So we'll keep a close eye out for that. But we're talking about fall foliage once again, and we are looking at those colors starting to pop a little bit more as we head towards the end of this month into the beginning of November, in particular around. Well, welcome back. We are looking at the tropics once again, and just looking at one area of potential development east of the Lesser Antilles, west of the west coast of Africa. About an 80% chance of this turning into our next named system. And the general motion you can see in this red shaded area just take it just north and east of the Lesser Antilles and also the Caribbean in general. So we'll keep a close eye out for that. But we're talking about fall foliage once again, and we are looking at those colors starting to pop a little bit more as we head towards the end of this month into the beginning of November, in particular around our area. If you take a trip up to the Appalachian Mountains right now, you can definitely see some pretty good colors already. As we continue through the end of November, though, a lot of our trees will begin to reach that peak color that they'll see, and as we continue through December, those trees will be past peak. So the best viewing, I would say, will be in between the end of this month and the end of November for some of those fall colors. But as far as looking at current temperatures area-wide, it is a cooler feel outside. We're looking at upper 50s, low 60s right now, so a long sleeve shirt and definitely maybe even a light jacket will be recommended for any evening plans, and we'll see those clouds gradually thin as we head towards midnight, and those temperatures will respond with 40s by tomorrow morning. So a chilly start on tap the next few mornings, and we're also looking at rainfall chances by Friday.
All right, thanks, Mikel. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.